Good morning, everyone. We're going to do tea and tarot again this morning. So for those who are new, I go to the cards every 2 weeks to find out what's happening on planet Earth and in our lives. You can always catch the replay on Instagram and also on my website, circleoflightwellness.com. It's under the tea and tarot section. I started off doing these in a trailer in my driveway at the beginning of COVID, and I'm in my living room right now because I sold the first trailer, got another trailer, and I'm renovating a third trailer. So it's not quite ready yet, but as soon as it is, we will do this back in the trailer. So let's jump in. I'm going to start with the Work Your Light deck this morning. And my cat is up to his antics in the background. So if you see like him flying across the background like a maniac, he's full of beans this morning. All right, so Work Your Light deck. What do you have for us? Okay, so I just pulled the Soul Family card, and this is about connecting with other people in your life and reconnecting to other people in your life. And I'm feeling this, especially with, Merlin, he's crazy. You can probably hear him in the background, but the Soul Family card is the card that I just pulled, and this is about reconnecting to your soul family, your soul tribe, your friends, the people who you feel really understand you. It may or may not be family, and it could be a single friend or family member, or it could be a group, but this is about trying to find people, if you don't have them in your life already, that really feed you on a soul and energetic level. It's so important, especially right now. We've been through a lot. We're coming out the end of it. Things are starting to open up and look better, but we're still moving through a lot of our stuff, a lot of the emotional stuff we've gone through over the last year and a half, and figuring out, how to move forward in the world and how to make plans and what to do next, whether it's with your business or your personal life or just sort of why you're here on a soul level and what you want to do in your life. And it's a little bit hard to plan when we don't know what's happening next, because even though it looks like things are slowly getting better, there's still this fear of, well, what if we go back to, this past year? So this is about finding support in other people like-minded to you that really fill you up, support you, help you feel more grounded, and also help inspire you to push you a little bit forward when you're feeling like you need that. Sometimes we need cheerleaders and people in our lives who are, there. We know that they have our back. We know that they actually want us to succeed and have our best interests at heart. So this card is coming up because if you don't feel you have that in your life right now, Spirit is saying this is coming. You're going to start meeting and interacting with people who you have that deep soul level connection with. So just be open to that in the next few weeks, and maybe start, going out in the world and interacting with other people, saying yes to things and putting yourself in a position so that this could happen. And for a lot of us, we've been really disconnected from our friends over the last year and a half. I mean, we've been virtually connected, but physically disconnected. And so gathering together or reconnecting in whatever way feels good for you is really good. It's good medicine right now. So that was the message from that card. The hermiting, the time of the hermiting is over. It's time to start entering the world again. All right. So we're going to the Spellcasting Oracle for our next card. And this one wants to come out. And this card is the Forgiveness card. And forgiveness can be a tricky thing. It almost feels heavy, like, oh God, forgiveness, what does that mean? But you can see there's a lot of light around this girl in the card, the waterfall and the sun here. So this is about things getting lighter, things getting easier. And there might be something in your life that you need to forgive. It could be a person, it could be a situation, it might even be yourself. And you might have felt that you've done the work around this already, And you might be like, well, you know, Kerri, I don't really have anything to forgive. I'm all good. But this card is coming up because it's asking us to look a little deeper, because there might be something left there that needs to be addressed or needs to be tidied up, or a deeper level of forgiveness. Oftentimes when we think of forgiveness, we think, well, we need to forgive another person because we were hurt or betrayed or something happened, and so we need to forgive them to move on. But oftentimes in those situations, a large piece of the forgiveness has to do with ourselves and forgiving ourselves for making mistakes, or what we perceive are mistakes, or making choices that maybe don't end up being the best for us, or like giving other people the benefit of the doubt when maybe we shouldn't have. So there's a lot there, and the forgiveness card is asking us to look a little bit deeper in a gentle way. And if you haven't forgiven someone in your life, maybe look at how your energy is being tied up with that, and try to, I know it's hard to sometimes see the other person's point of view, but really, I really believe in my heart that we're all on the planet. We're all trying to do the very best we can with the tools that we have. I don't think anyone is out there intentionally trying to harm anyone or damage anyone. Very rarely does that happen. So if you can try to understand where that person was coming from, maybe they were acting out of a place of fear and they weren't their best selves. If this is someone else you need to forgive, but it does hold a lot of energy holding on to that hurt or even anger. And so it does serve you to kind of tidy that up if you can. And so Spirit's just asking us to look at that. In the next few days until we hit the full moon in Aquarius, we're still in that new moon Cancer energy. This is a perfect time to kind of put that to bed. So before the weekend, you do some deep diving into all that heavy stuff. Okay. All right. So I'm going to the Native Spirit Oracle for our next card. I pulled the Peace Pipe card. And the Peace Pipe, well, obviously represents peace, but this is about, again, it's very similar theme. It's almost that forgiveness theme, or finding that peace within yourself, which is different for each person. Like every person's peace is different. What we need to feel peaceful in our lives is very different from person to person. And this is asking us to go within and really find that within ourselves and honor ourselves and give yourself that time and space and freedom to do what you need to do right now to find that peace. Because for a lot of us over this past time that we've had, our peace has been disrupted. A lot of things have been disrupted, but our internal feeling of peace, which is also connected in large part to our feeling of security as well. So this is asking us to find our inner peace. And you know, every 2 weeks I say this, get outside, get in nature. But really that is a beautiful place to connect and find that peace, because when you're in nature, it reminds you to breathe. It reminds you to reconnect to your deeper self. And so just being in and around the trees, or on the beach, or in the water, or near a river, or creek, go for a hike, it brings you into that natural rhythm, and that will help you find that first feeling of peace. Some of us don't have any peace in our lives, and we're living in constant chaos and disarray, and some people thrive on that. But this card is asking us to start to consider that. Like, how can we bring more peace into our lives right now, more balance, more harmony? Those things really do affect our physical body. Our emotional state is always affecting our physical body. So it's key to have that mental, emotional peace and stability for our physical body to heal and stay well. So Spirit is asking us to look there too. So forgiveness, peace, lots of big things happening. I'm going to go to the fairy cards next. So my sign is Cancer, and so I'm usually okay in the Cancerian energy of emotions. It's kind of what I swim around in all of the time. But I have had a lot happen in the last week, and I've been like, whoa, this is a lot. So I don't know if anyone else has felt it. I mean, all the big shifts, it's great, but it's felt a bit like a roller coaster for me, with extreme highs and some rocky bottoms. But it's all good, you know. Sometimes we need to have those experiences. to really highlight what we need to look at in our lives. So I just pulled the Life Energy card, which is all about reminding us to shine our light out, but also to re-energize ourselves and restore our light. And this is something that I think that we all could use some help with, especially the healers and the givers out there, because we have a tendency to overgive and sometimes forget to recharge our own internal battery. And this card is reminding us, we're all beautiful beings of light, and shine out there, help people do what you want to do what you need to do, but also don't discount. You need to recharge your battery. You need to power up before you give it all away. So this card is reminding us to be our authentic, beautiful, light beings that we are, but we also need to consider ourselves in that as well. So while you're giving to the world and everyone else in your life that you love, don't forget to fill your own cup up, because it can be quite a shock. And I do this all the time, where I end up getting run down and burnt out. And I'm like, how did I get here again? And it's just because I'm not always aware of the balance of the giving and the receiving, or the recharging. And so this card is all about finding that balance with both, but it's definitely time to shine and let your light out there. So if you've been hiding it, or if you've been kind of hesitating, maybe sharing some of your intuitive gifts with others, or some of your own vibrant, beautiful energy, now it's time. Spirit's saying, get out there, let's share it, let's show each other who we are, let's connect to each other on that soul level. We are beautiful, beings. We're not just physical bodies, we're beautiful light beings as well. And this is about connecting to people in that way, recognizing that in one another, as well as taking care of yourself at the same time. So really beautiful reminder from Spirit. Okay, I'm going to go to these fractal image cards next. Oh, thanks, Sherry. You're so nice. But yes, so usually, it's funny, because I have some friends in my life that are like, you're so sensitive all the time, and I am, because I'm a Cancer, and I'll just start crying about random weird things. The other day, oh gosh, I don't think I can talk about it, and I'll start crying again. But I was driving down the street. Oh, see, I can't even talk about it. A family of raccoons had been hit by a car, and all these little, okay. Anyway, you can see what I mean. Stuff like that, just, I'm on the ground. All right, so switching gears, let's go into this card here. And these cards, just so you know, if you have this deck, or if you're interested in this deck, these are by Cheryl Lee Harness. She has 3 decks. They're beautiful. They come with guidebooks, and what you do is you look up the number, and then you find out what the card's about. But for those who know me, I like to just go into the card here. And so just going into the image of the card, I'm really drawn to the center and all that beautiful light that's unfolding. It's like unwinding. And all of this activity here too, this green and this pink. And there's a lot going on. And so when I'm drawn to this card, it feels almost like a bit overwhelming, because there's so much activity. It's beautiful, but there's a lot. And so for those of you who feel like there's a lot coming at you, a lot of information coming at you, a lot of energy coming at you, you might be feeling in your physical spaces, there's a lot of clutter coming at you, and you just can't seem to get out of that. This is all about focusing on just the one tiny thing right now, okay? Don't go big if you're feeling this overwhelm. It's a lot of beautiful things coming our way, but it might feel like we've gone from our lives being relatively sheltered, and now everything's opening up and we have too many choices, and it could be like, whoa, I don't know what to do. And that overwhelm can be stressful. So this card is reminding us to, yes, take advantage of all of those things, but don't be afraid to kind of push them all to the side and just focus on that one thing that's the most important right now. Okay, whether it has to do with your physical health or relationships or your home environment or your career or your, friends, whatever you need to focus on right now, just focus on that one thing and kind of feel like you get a handle on that before you start to branch out into the other things. Because it's great to have, you know, I'm always like, have a million things going on at the same time. But Spirit's saying, you know, streamline, like, what's the word? Simplify. Now's the time to simplify, okay? So if you're feeling that overwhelm, it's also coming to us energetically, but just do whatever you can in your physical space and also in your body, your emotions, and your energy, just to kind of get really simple with things right now. Just one little thing at a time until you feel like you can tackle the bigger stuff. All right? Yeah. Yes, I do agree, Lori. Like, it feels like we're through the worst of it and we're coming out the other side and things are returning to normal and it's really beautiful. But there's also the backlog of stuff that, you know, maybe we haven't dealt with because we were sort of just trying to get through life. And also, too, an uncertainty about the future because it's hard to plan anything right now. And I'm a really big planner. I like to kind of have the idea and then put the action behind it. This last year, I feel like I've had all these ideas and I go to try to put action behind them and then I pull back and I'm like, no, it doesn't feel right. And so I feel like I'm kind of like this person that can't make decisions anymore, and that's really not who I am. But if somebody was at the outside looking in, they'd be like, oh my God, Kerri's scattered. She's all over the place. She's doing this and then she's not doing this and then she's doing this and then she's not doing this. And the reason is, like, I wait till it feels fully good before I commit. And I haven't been able to really fully commit to anything because I haven't been feeling that it's on solid ground. And so a lot of people are feeling that. It's almost like we're trying to plan and build a foundation for a house on quicksand. And it's very disconcerting. So Spirit's also telling us to focus on the small things that we can control right now and just wait. Like, if you don't have enough information to make a decision, if you don't feel like you're ready, then just wait and wait for more information to come or wait for more clarity to come. Now is not the time to make a hasty decision about anything in your life. It's about to ask Spirit for more clarity, and it's about to go within and figure that stuff out, because the energy is very jostly right now. And I think it will be for a little bit. And that's okay. We've been through something that's been very uprooting and unsettling. And so it's taking us a while to reroot again. It's like if you imagine yourself as a plant, you've been just pulled out of life and transplanted, and, you know, it takes a while to adjust. So we have to be patient and gentle with ourselves, I think. All right, but I am feeling it too, and it's not my normal, and it's very difficult because I feel like I've been, stuck for the last 2 years, and I have stuff that I want to do, but it's hard to get anything really going in a big way right now. All right, the Universal Love deck is the card I'm going to next. This is one of my favorite decks. For those who know me, you know this is one of my favorite decks. I'll show you the cover of it. There's so many beautiful decks. If you don't have one and you're like, which one do I start with? I highly recommend this one. It's a great positive deck. Comes with a great guidebook. So I pulled the Answered Prayer card, and I think this card has come up because of just what I was talking about. It's like Spirit saying, okay, that's great. You guys are going through all this stuff, but you're not alone. You can ask for help. And sometimes we forget to ask. We forget that we have that spiritual support, and Spirit is there, and we can ask them for help. We can ask them for clarity. We can say, listen, I'm really confused right now. I don't know what direction to go in. I don't know if I should go here or go there or do nothing. Send me a sign. Send me some clarity. Send me some information or some people or something that can help me make this decision. And when we do that, we will get that. That will come to us. But sometimes we forget to ask for help. And so Spirit's reminding us, you're not alone here. Okay, it can feel like you're alone in the world sometimes. Even if you're surrounded by friends and family that love you, sometimes you might feel like you're alone in the world and no one really understands you. And Spirit's saying you're not alone. You've got that support. You just have to remember to ask for help. I'm also really drawn to the butterfly in this image, and butterflies are all about transformation, huge transformation, because that caterpillar doesn't just have a little change in its life. It literally disintegrates into goo and rebuilds an entirely new body that can fly. Like, that is crazy if you think about it. If you really think about it, it sounds crazy. It's very magical, very like unbelievable, but we do that all the time too. Okay, we're constantly changing and transforming. So if you don't like where your life is at now, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling frustrated, you have that ability to completely transform it into something unrecognizable from what it is right now. But it doesn't have to happen overnight. The caterpillar goes into the cocoon and it spends a lot of time like recalibrating and getting ready for that new body and that new life. And so we need to also take the time to do that too. So it's okay to take a time out and, you know, reassess. And I'm just laughing at Lori's comment. She's like, I'm trying to put my goo back together. I hear you, okay? And that's why it's really important, even when your life is crazy and you don't know what's happening or where to go, that you focus on something, one thing. Maybe all you want is just peace. Maybe you just want that unconditional love. Maybe you just want that stability. Maybe you just want that great career, or the money in the bank, or that wonderful relationship, or whatever it is. But even just focusing on that one thing, that will help pull you to it. You don't have to focus on a million things. And when the caterpillar's in the cocoon and it turns to goo, all it's focusing on is its beautiful new butterfly body. It's thinking about the wings it's going to have. It's thinking about having that sweet nectar out of flowers instead of having to munch on leaves all day long. It's probably super jazzed. It can fly away from the birds instead of just being on the leaf and being eaten, you know? So just focus on where you want to be, even if you're not there. There is power in doing that, and ask Spirit for help. That's the message of this card, that we're not doing it alone. I mean, you can do it alone. You have the freedom to do it alone if you want. Spirit's not going to force help on you, but we do have to have that invitation of help, asking Spirit for help. They can't interfere with our lives or our free will without our permission. And that's what prayer is. Prayer is surrendering and asking for help. And, you know, I forget to do this all the time, guys. I'm telling you to do it. And sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I should have asked for help. So it might be a repetitive message. You've probably heard it before, but we can never hear it too much. So we're not alone. Ask Spirit for help. I'm going to the Angel Guide Oracle for our next card. This is a deck by Kyle Gray. It's really beautiful. I love this juicy orange for the back of the card. I don't see that very much with the angel cards. It's nice. Okay. Take charge and take action is the card I pulled. This feels like Archangel Michael to me. He's very much like, let's get down to business. He's like, let's blaze the trail. And he's sort of that energy that pushes you forward out of your comfort zone, sometimes through your fears, into your fears, through your fears, out the other side. So this is time to take charge and take action with the things that you can take charge of and take action on. Like if you know you're supposed to be doing something right now and you've been delaying it, now's the time to start putting action behind it. Okay, whether it's a small thing like cleaning up a cluttered room in your house or moving forward on making some plans. And I know the cards earlier were like, well, it's hard to make plans because things are still uncertain. Ask help on clarity. But we also do need to take action, because even when we ask Spirit for help, it's not like they're going to serve us with our future life on a platter without us having to take action, make choices, make decisions. And so the energy is we are to still keep moving forward, even if it is in a small, gentle way, but understand that you are the driver. Like if you imagine your life like your body as a car, you are the driver. You know, Spirit is passenger side and there for help, but you're the driver in your life. No one else is driving your car. And you could let other people drive your car if you want to and just go along there with their life, but you are the driver of your car. You're the creator of your life. And so Spirit is reminding us of that we're the ones who decide where we go, how we go, where we want to go. So if you haven't been feeling that lately, it's time to reconnect to that energy of that you are the one who chooses, and Spirit's supporting us in that. All right, I'm going to go to the Moonology deck, which is a beautiful deck, different moon phases. Just going to pick a random one here. It won't be the moon phase we're in right now, but it will still be relevant. So cat's now napping. He started off completely spazzing out and tearing through the cards, and now he's having a snooze, so that's great. That's good stuff. Okay, so I'm pulling a time for healing. When is it never a time for healing, honestly? For those of us out there who do a lot of healing work already, we're like, when does it end? Why are there so many layers? Oh, God. Yes, it's still time for healing, everybody. And I think, too, with this card, looking at it, it's a time for being gentle. Okay, because sometimes we think we've healed something, we think we're done with a pattern in our lives, and then it rears its ugly head again, and we're like, really, again? Like, I thought I healed this, I thought I balanced this, and you can kind of beat yourself up a bit. And Spirit's saying it's okay. There are layers, so just don't judge yourself about it. Don't judge yourself about your emotions or how you're feeling or what you're struggling with. It's not a time to judge and beat yourself up. It's simply a time for being loving, being kind, having that forgiveness for yourself, and healing, like letting the healing happen. And if you can't figure it out on your own, because we can figure a lot of stuff out on our own. We can heal a lot of things by ourselves because we know ourselves best. But this is also a card about asking other people for help, like getting that help if you need it, instead of struggling on your own for weeks, months, years. It's okay to ask for help. There are people out there that can help us when we get stuck. So it's a time for healing, but recognizing when that healing, and like when it stops and when you need help to get to that next stage or that next level. And for a lot of people, that's, seeing a professional for help, or even just taking a course and learning more tools on how to address something. So if you're the type of person that likes to do things by yourself, I totally understand that. I get that. And you might want to take a healing course, or you might want to find a book or do some self-study. And for those of you who feel you've done all that and you've hit a wall and you need guidance, then you might want to reach out and have a session with a practitioner to get you there. But definitely a time for healing and a time for being gentle. I'm going to go to the Ask Your Guides cards for our next one. All right. It was actually my birthday yesterday. I'm feeling very old today. It's like, why? Oh, man. Okay. Divine teachers and balance, which goes a little bit along with what I was just speaking of, that sometimes we do need a teacher. And it doesn't mean necessarily going out and finding a traditional spiritual teacher. Our teachers can be anything. It can be our friends and family in our life, a book we find, a lesson, something that we go through, and about finding balance. And to be honest, I don't know if balance is ever fully possible. Thanks, Lori. Honestly, I think we're always trying to find balance, but at least getting closer to that balance. And maybe realizing if you feel unbalanced in your life, where is that unbalance? Where does it sit? Is it in your health? Is it in your relationships? Does it have to do with your finances or your career, or maybe your home or where you live, or maybe it's got to do with your soul purpose or what you feel you should be doing on the planet in this lifetime. So find out where you feel imbalance in your life and focus on that, because very often we'll be balanced in a lot of areas and there'll just be one or two that really need our focus. And sometimes our physical body too. I love how I left that one out. That's where I'm unbalanced right now with just I feel like with my fitness and my physical body. So wherever it is, or your nutrition, or wherever you feel the balance isn't there, that's where we need to look right now. And the divine teacher is there to suggest that sometimes we might need help. So for me, for example, to use myself as an example, I want to focus more on getting back into shape, because I feel during COVID, with the stress of it, I just don't feel, as good in my body as I did before. So that might mean that I need to sign up for some kind of exercise program to keep me motivated, or get some nutritional counseling, or some, hormone counseling, or whatever it is that's contributing to the situation. So it can be looking outside of your normal realm that you'd go to for that help. So that card is asking us to look at where we're out of balance and start to take tiny steps to bring ourselves back. Okay. All right. So we're going to the Sacred Destiny Oracle, which is a beautiful deck. And we'll see what we have here. Also on Wednesdays on my Instagram, every week I have a 3-card spread you can choose a card from. And I try to switch the deck every week, so it's a different deck every week. I might have to start recycling decks soon as I run out of decks, but just to give you a chance to see different decks and experience them. I just pulled the protection card. And this card, protection, is the most important when we're feeling kind of really raw and vulnerable and depleted. That's when we need to sort of protect our energy and almost cocoon up and just take care of ourselves. It doesn't mean protection like something bad is coming at you and you're in danger, but it can mean it's along the lines of that first card I pulled, where you have to manage your energy. When your energy is depleted and you don't have a lot of energy to give to another person, you need to be protective of the energy that you have until you fill your tank up again. So the protection card is coming up, and it's almost asking us, like, where are you spending your energy right now, and who are you spending it with, and is that okay? Or do you need to maybe reserve a little bit and protect yourself a bit and maybe pull back from those situations or those people until you feel more solid? This image of the tree is a beautiful image to consider, because when you're feeling ungrounded or when your energy's feeling low, one of the best visualizations you can do to reset your energy very, very quickly and effectively is to close your eyes and imagine you're a tree. Imagine that you've got roots coming out the base of your feet and send them deep into the earth. Because the earth is like a great big battery, and when we connect to it in that way, we instantly start pulling up that vital energy into our physical body. It also helps reset our energy, so if you've been carrying anything that's not yours, or that doesn't belong to you, or that isn't relevant anymore, you'll be able to release that at the same time. And when you root yourself down into the earth like a great big tree energetically that way, it will help you in life if you feel you're being tossed around or ungrounded, especially by other people or situations or things. I think this whole experience we've had in the last year and a half has been very ungrounding. And so imagining that you're a tree or getting close to trees, really like connecting to the energy of trees, is so helpful right now. So you can just use that as a visualization. You can even bring light down through the top, so you can imagine you're a tree and imagine that light coming down, washing it through your body a couple of times. I think it's like one of the most perfect, quick, easy meditations to do. Imagine you're a tree. It will really help you feel strong, centered, grounded, focused, balanced. We can learn a lot from the standing people in our lives. They're very wise. They've been around a lot longer than we have, most of them, and they know how to be still, and they know how to bend when they need to, but they also know how to stay rooted even throughout a storm. So trees, that protection, taking care of your energy, okay? There's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself. Sometimes it's really important to do that. Actually, it's always really important to do that, but I know for a lot of us, it's the last thing we think of. We think of others first. We think of, all the things we need to do and where we need to be and what we need to give, and then we put ourselves last. And it's beautiful that we do that in a way, because I feel like most people are very loving and kind in that way. But in times of stress, sorry, I keep losing my voice. In times of stress, especially when people are really stretched, that's when they need to really give yourself some energy and really make sure you're balanced. I think a lot of the stuff that's happening right now, I don't know, I have a hard time sometimes with the Facebook comments. Like, people seem to be quick to anger or quick to judge or quick to emotion. And I think it's because a lot of us are ungrounded and just exhausted. And so we need to have that compassion for others. And it doesn't mean accepting abuse or condoning it, but it means understanding that people aren't necessarily operating from a place of their best selves right now. and to give them the benefit of the doubt, I think, is really important. Okay, I just pulled the Illumination card. And this card is coming up to remind us that we are receiving energy from Spirit all the time. So whether you feel you're intuitive or not, that information and energy is always coming to you. It's always coming to you. Why do some of us feel it and receive it clearly and others really struggle? It really has a lot to do with, pardon me, how much energy and how much information and energy is already in your energy field. You can't stick something in a closet that's already full. You just can't. And if you are, pardon me, listening to really loud music, let's say, and somebody walks in the room and says something to you, you're not necessarily going to hear them because you've got the loud music playing. So the loud music is an analogy for all of our other thoughts and things that are kind of rolling around in our energy field. And Spirit is that, the analogy of that person coming in the room with the quieter voice. So the best way to hear what's coming from Spirit is to get quiet. And the best way to get quiet is really to meditate. Although to meditate can be torturous if you've never done it before, because you just sit there and literally all the thoughts are rolling around in your head like crazy. But, you know, you have to let them have their, pardon me, their moment or their time. Think of your thoughts as busy, crazy toddlers that want your attention, okay? And you're trying to be on the phone with a friend and these kids are running around screaming. So when you meditate for the first time, it's going to be crazy because you have all these thoughts that are like, oh, you know, you're sitting still, all these things bubble to the surface. But the more you do it, the more, once they're done, then they go. Then those thoughts kind of fly away. And so when you sit and you just observe the thoughts and let them happen and then, you know, say goodbye to them, eventually you'll get space. And when you get space, that's when this information, you can start getting information from Spirit. You can start picking up on information and energy in your environment a lot easier. So for those of you with busy, active minds who've really struggled with meditation, I hear you. I'm with you on that. I'm that person, okay? So what used to work for me, two things. Reiki. Reiki was how I would do it. I would give myself a Reiki session, and that would put me in the meditative state of mind. The other way I would do it is I would do a workout. I was just making sure my cat wasn't eating my cards because he came and he's cuddling in them. The other way I would do it is I would do a workout, either go for a run or do something that got my heart rate up so I would exhaust myself, and then I would meditate after that. So you can try those approaches. That might help if you have a busy, active mind. Or use a guided meditation just to get started. Just have some music, have somebody else's voice guide you through it. It still works, okay? A guided meditation isn't any less meditative than sitting in silence, cross-legged in a room with nothing for hours. Like, you know, I think we can get a little snobby with meditation sometimes. Going outside and laying on the ground by a tree, that can be meditating. So just try it. Try your own way. Find your own way. Washing the dishes, folding your laundry mindfully is a meditation. It doesn't have to be a traditional, let's sit so we're really uncomfortable and just have our hips screaming at us while we're trying to meditate. No, lay down. Get comfy. You know, try and have your spine relaxed and straight if you can. So lay down or sit in an upright chair. If you can't, sit in a lotus position or cross-legged or on a cushion, that's fine. Do whatever works for you. It's about finding your way to meditate as opposed to trying to find somebody else's way. But I did find Reiki really helpful. When I learned Reiki, when I did the self-treatment, that automatically slowed my mind down, you know, got me in that zone. And so really that was sort of like my hack for meditation. Because before that, I'd be sitting and meditating and trying to meditate so hard. Like, I think I'd give myself a headache, you know, just trying so hard. So Reiki was my gateway, but that's not the only way. There's lots of different ways. But finding that space so that you can hear Spirit, because they are always with us. It's not like they're gone. They're like, oh, here's some guidance and we're taking off and you're on your own. They're always there. They're always there to help us. So if you have been asking Spirit for help and you feel you're not receiving it, you just need to clear some of the clutter up here and get into a space where you can actually make room to receive it. Sound good? Okay, so we'll go to another card here. I think this is hilarious. My cat is like laying all over the cards. All right, let's go to this stick. This is also, I think this is also an Alex Gray deck that I've got here. So we'll do one more card and then I'll go to the angel cards. And this is our card. Okay. And this kind of is in alignment with what I was talking about, awakening presence. Really drawn to the blues and the crystal by his third eye here. Focusing on opening our intuition. And we can all do this. We all have intuition. We absolutely all have it. Just like we all have the ability to learn science or math, run a marathon if we want to. Some of us are born with it already switched on. That was the case with me. That comes easier for me than doing math, and I can't sing. So there's a lot of things I can't do, but I can do that. But we can all learn those things. And that's why I love teaching intuition, because you can learn this. You can learn this at least to the point where you can make better choices in your life. It doesn't mean you're going to quit your day job and become an intuitive counselor. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but it's not everyone's path. But you can at least get good enough at connecting in your own intuition to make better life choices. And that's what it's all about. It's about having that empowerment so that you can do that. Yes, it's nice to go and have a session with someone. And I love helping people, when they get stuck. That's what I'm there for. But I also love helping people by giving them the tools so that when they're unstuck, then they're able to get their own answers. So essentially, I love what I do for a living and seeing everybody for healing sessions and intuitive sessions. But ultimately, I'm trying to put myself out of business by training you all up on how to do it yourselves, essentially. And this card is about that. It's about awakening that presence. It's about connecting to your intuition. It's about learning to trust it, doing the things that you're drawn to do to develop it further. And if you're not sure how to do that, that's one of the things you can ask for help with from Spirit, and just say, listen, I really want to develop my intuition, and how can I do that? And then you might find that you're drawn to a certain person or course or book or information, or maybe you hopped on here today and you're listening to this Tea and Tarot, you're like, oh yeah, I want to do this. And I teach and do lots of things, and there are a million other people doing it too. And I've been doing this for about 20 years now, and it was not cool. At least in my neck of the woods, it was sort of a weird thing. And now what's really nice in the world right now is that intuition stuff and connecting to your intuition and learning to heal is the cool thing. So finally, I'm in fashion. So, but if you get stuck and you feel like I'm your girl, you can just message me. But there's lots of other ways to connect your intuition out there too. Even just getting a deck of cards, guys. Just buy a deck of cards and start playing around with them. It's one of the most fun, easy ways to connect your intuition. And in a way that you can do it with friends too, right? You can pull cards for friends. Okay, so I'm going to these cards next. Every week I pick a silver wing, a gold wing, and then the 2 circles for the key. So we'll see what we get. We have our silver wing card. Unearth the treasure within you. We all have one. Okay? And that could be what are your gifts? What are you here to offer? What are you here to do on the planet? One of the biggest questions I get from people is, what is my soul path? The quickest, easiest answer to that, there's lots of answers for that. There's not one size fits all, but a great place to start is, what has been your greatest challenge on the planet so far, from the beginning of time forward? What has been your biggest struggle, your biggest challenge? Very often your greatest gift lies within it. Okay, winds of change are blowing, and I am feeling this. I am feeling really ants in my pants lately, I need to do something big. I'm driving everybody in my life crazy who's around me, because literally, just this last week, I'm should I buy land in Costa Rica or Cape Breton? Or should I just do nothing right now? I'm all over the place. So the key is September and an important decision. So maybe by September, we'll have some clarity where we're going to land. Right now, it can feel a bit like we're tornadoing around, and that's okay. We're in this together. You guys keep hanging in, keep doing what you're doing. And thank you for coming. This is such a pleasure. Sometimes when I do this, I might not be feeling it. This morning, I was a little off, and saying to a friend, I don't know if I could do it this morning. I feel squirrely all over the place. But just trusting is important, and we got through it okay. I don't think it was too crazy. Anyway, it was really wonderful to connect with all of you. We'll do this again in 2 weeks. Also tonight, free Reiki if you need it. Just sign up, say yes in the comments on my Instagram, and look for the tarot cards tomorrow where you can pick a card and check out different decks as well. And if there's anything that you ever want to see that I'm not doing, just send me a message. Like I thought about maybe doing, oh gosh, there's all kinds of stuff I can do. I don't know, whatever you think. Let's have some fun. But yeah, thanks for coming. It was great to see all of you. Get out there, enjoy the sun, hang out with the trees, do that tree visualization when you feel ungrounded and wacky and your energy's low, and let me know how it goes, okay? All right, have a great day, everyone. Really good to see you. Bye.